very welcome to the first quarter report year 2022. Carl-Johan Linér, CEO of the company SaltX, and with my side here I have Harald Bauer, CFO.
Good morning to all of you.
Again, very welcome to this presentation, and we released our report at 8 o'clock this morning, Swedish time, and we have recently had our Swedish presentation, and now we have the English one. We will go through some slides here, and please write your questions meantime, and we will come back to the questions after the presentation. First quarter 2022, it's been quite little bit turbulence in the world, and we have also made some adjustments to the environmental situation, where we have actually been working more and more closer and closer to our customers, particularly the industrial side. But before I go into that, I can also mention that we have had our annual general meeting for a week ago, 10 days ago, and it was a physical meeting in our office here in Sweden, in Stockholm, and that was very pleasant to have that and sort of be back to more normal procedure as we had in the past. We are writing the 4th of May now, and it's actually precisely 3 years ago since I started the company, joined the company as CEO, and it's in very many aspects it's not it's another sort of company. In the beginning we were looking very focused on the material side itself, and but we realized pretty soon that the charging reactor and the uncharging reactor was very much depending on the material, and the material was depending on the reactor. So we had to look at as it was as a function, and today we are more and more getting into the system thinking and system perspective, and taking the full responsibility of the installation, because with the support of our global experienced good partners as we have, we can do that. And I think that it's very, very important to build that competence, to have that. In the long run, we will probably not build the complete installations, but we have to have the competence inside in our offices. I can say also that during the time I've been around here now for 3 years, it's been a change in the interest, of course, and we all know about the global targets as we have from Paris and latest the COP in Glasgow, and it's coming up a new COP in Egypt later on this year also. There will be an ongoing pressure on getting into the fossil-free world, and that is certainly a great help for us. So the demand is there for storages, but the market needs to be more clear and more specific where and how and what to be installed energy storage applications inside. So we are on a journey. We are on a journey to a fossil-free society, and this is what it's all about, really: renewable energy on demand. The wind or the sun, by the way, we cannot control it. We cannot control. We cannot push a button and then it will start to blow. So in other words, we need to have some other things, and that is then the energy storage usage to make this controllable. And this is a lot of demand once people, the country or the city or an area or an industry decide to go into the renewable, they need energy storage applications. So we see ourselves as a enabler to make this possible, and we tried a couple of times to put figures on the potential demand in dollars or euros or whatever, but we only know it's huge. It's very, very big, and it's going to be even more bigger in the future. And there will be a number of technical solutions. We will, of course, not be the only solution here. So we are very, very welcome. In the last session, we got a lot of questions about the competitors, but of course, we welcome competition, and that's secure that the energy storage market will develop. But renewable energy on demand, remember that, and that's a very important statement. That's what it's all about. SaltX Technology, who are we? Well, you maybe know this, but for some newcomers, we are a Swedish based company, but we have been around for many years. Since 2016, we went on the stock market, and we are also participating in a number of competitions. And one of the latest one was Helsinki Energy Challenge, where we actually one of I think it was more than 250 applications from well-known companies, from companies that's been around for a very, very long time. We became one of the 4 winners of this competition. And this was all about to make Helsinki a fossil-free city. And that we came up with a package solution with a lot of storages, of course. So we are working with a scalable technology. That means that we can scale up the power, and we can scale up the capacity of the storage. Very, very important is, since we are a small company, but an innovative company, is that we work with the right technical partners, the global technical partners that could support us and help us, and we can support them with our core technology also. So we have this unique storage solution with a very, very clear map for commercialization. We have a couple of significant events. We have had during the first quarter, we had 3 press releases, and after the end of the period, we have additional 3 press releases. We have never, at least not during my time, 3 years here, we have never ever had so many newsletters, so many significant events during pretty short time. And this is possible because of the competence and the know-how and experience that we have in our company. And people in organization find solutions on our challenges. The first one to mention here from left to right is actually the Norra Energi cooperation that we have. It's a pre-study, and the reason why we were talking to Norra Energi is purely because of that they have seen our results in Helsinki Challenge. And because of that, they took contact with us, and they wanted to have a similar mini Helsinki study in Norra Energi. And that we are working with at the moment, and I can't tell when it's ready or what's the conclusion will be. But the only thing we know is that Norra Energi want to become fossil free, or to reduce the emission, at least in the very, very near future. And this is sort of very much driven by the politicians and in this community, and this is sort of decisions we welcome very much, so we can establish a good application for the storages. The second one in the middle is the project in Luleå. You know that we came out with a press release for some time now, more than a year ago, that we wanted to utilize the waste heat in the production of the steel industry, sort of the gas waste heat, and to store the storages. That we started with a pre-study even there together with Sverim, and that came out as how should I say it? It came out as not the latest technology, not the latest trend. You know probably that in Luleå there is a steel producer, and the steel producer wants to go for green steel, and that was very important for us to follow the green steel initiative. So we have a little bit changed the direction of this pre-study. The pre-study is still going on, but it's extremely interesting now to follow the green steel initiative, that we could support this initiative by our technology. It's going to be very, very interesting, and it's good to know and to feel that we are in the front run of the technology, and we are supporting this initiative. Again, we are an enabler to make this happen and to increase the climate aspect in the production. The third one is actually an innovation that we call it an innovation because we think it's a major step, and we looked in many ways how to find an optimal charging reactor, and we will actually taking this initiative by ourselves, and we started to develop a charging reactor with a special technique, and this is I will come back to that a little bit later on also to tell you more about that, but it's certainly an innovation, and we have a patent pending for this application, and this is really something new. I mean, we are, for the charging reactor in Balmora, we have colleagues, and for the uncharging reactor, we are talking to Sumitomo Foster Wheeler. But here we have an innovation that we have a patent pending, as I said, but it's our own IP rights in this reactor here, and it works. We work together with some partners here, of course, also, but it's a very, very important strategical innovation for us to have our arms around this innovation. I will come back, as I said, later on to that more later on. The milestones that we have, you've probably seen this before also, that 2017, we said it was a birthday of an energy storage concept. And after that, we had some smaller installations in Stockholm here in a container, but we took the decision to build an installation in Berlin at Vattenfall premises in Berlin. And we actually opened up that plant in April 2019, and that was again a power to steam installation with a 0.5 megawatt power and 10 megawatt hours capacity. That plant was in open up, as I said, in 2019, and the plan we had was really to change technology of the reactors, because we needed another sort of technology to scale up, to come up to bigger sizes of storages. But then the COVID pandemic came along, and the plant in Germany was actually closed, and we said that we have to go on, we have to continue our journey. So we took the decision that we were building our own pilot in Stockholm here. Still Vattenfall Balmora. And we took the experience that we got from Berlin, and we brought it to Stockholm, and we developed this now the technology, which was based on fluid as bed technology, as a charging, actually a falling bed reactor for the charging, and a fluid as bed for uncharging reactor. So we are preparing now. I will come back later on with a picture of that one, but we are at the end of the Stockholm pilot. We will start continuous testing program in the near future. So we are preparing for pre-commercial storage projects, and 2023 we hope to be able to announce a couple of pre-commercial projects. What we have also seen and what has changed over the years is actually that the questions and the interest have developed of the energy storage products. So we have got recently quite a lot of interest from the industry. So what we are working with now is also to develop a sort of application for the energy storage industry. It's a lot of, they don't store the energy for such a long time in industry, and they are using more frequent the charging and uncharging, but it actually is that they are charging with renewable energy, renewable electricity, and they are discharging the steam that the industry is then using in their production. We are also preparing for calcination projects and pilots based on this new innovation. I come back to that later on also. Looking on the Balmora situation, the flow, the milestones of Balmora, it has taken us almost 2 years now. We started 2020 in September to make the system design. We took contact with Sumitomo Foster Wheeler. We actually started to make our own design of the reactor, but after a while we took contact with Sumitomo, or they took contact with us, and we did some development together, and the discharging reactor was produced together with Sumitomo, and it was actually installed half a year later, a little bit more than that. Discharging installed April 2021. In the meantime, we did some part tests on our journey. Some tests failed, some tests were successful. We adjusted it, and we came into some changes, and we together find new solutions, because this is something new. Sumitomo Foster Wheeler have used fluidized bed for 135 years or whatever it is, but they have never fluidized such a material as we have here. So it was a challenge for them also, but now it's installed. And after that, we started with a charging reactor. It's a falling bed reactor from Calix, and it's based on a principle that you put in the material on the top, and then you are heating it up. Once it's falling down the material at the very end of it, you can get out calcium oxide. So now both of them together with the subsystem is installed, it's in place, and we have done some upgrades also, and we are now ready for doing the continuous testing, and we will of course inform you once we have this, we have the results. But you also see that the pilot partners at Sumitomo, Calix, ABB, Vattenfall, and Alfa Laval. Alfa Laval is quite interesting also because they see a lot of interest in this, because of they can utilizing the heat exchanger principles, and they can make the total installation more efficient. And they also see, of course, their own interest to make business in this also, which is fine. But I mean, to us, it's important that we work with those global partners that are big, and they have the experience, and they have the know-how. So why do I spend so much time looking at these Balmora milestones? Well, it's good for all of us to understand that we are developing something which is pretty difficult, and it takes time. That's what I'm saying. The next installation, next pilot will necessarily don't take as long time as this one, since we have done some learnings and experience from this one. But it's a system thinking here. Renewable energy, it's all about peak shifting. You know that. I think I mentioned that in the beginning also a little bit, that you have to charge the battery, you have to charge the material once the energy is cheap, and then you have to use it once it's expensive, so to say, to make good business out of it. But looking on the comments that I made, that the renewable energy on demand, which actually that it's a way of, and the energy storage actually makes it controllable, disregarding cheap or expensive energy. So it's a way of taking the full step into a fossil-free situation. So many cities and many countries are working with this, and once they are there, because it will happen, we are convinced it will happen. It's a question of time. They need storages application, because if they install 100, they need 20 in energy storage to be able to control the supply. This picture you have maybe seen before. It's a slightly modification of it, and we see that we are still aiming for the big capacity, for the high capacity from 10 megawatt hours and upwards. But the difference is that we have made an adjustments now for the industry, a little bit shorter duration, storage duration, and we are talking about days here, and that's a typical application for industry, that they are charging and discharging, and then they're using the steam in their production. So, but also, yeah, there are other applications like the combined heat and power installations that needs long duration storage, and it's a different applications. Again, we are following the demand, we are following the market, and we are listening to the customers that wants to have this. In a short duration industry, it's a slightly less complex solution than the other one, but we are close to the customer, and that's the key thing here, really, to be close to the customer. Looking on the applications under development, heat to heat, power to steam, power to power, yes, they are under development, but I want to be very clear on that the focus area is power to steam, no doubt about it. That's what we are focusing our efforts on. There are some discussions going on with the others also, heat to heat and power to power, and especially with some special partners that is looking at supporting us here. But there's no doubt about it. It's power to steam, and it's the steam. We find it our solution very suitable for the industry, and the industry is more precise in their requirements, what they want. They know very well what they want, and they know also that they can utilize the conversion to fossil-free production as a very, very good argument in their company also. So we believe very much in industry application. And what is then the industry application? Well, you can see it like this, that on the bottom of this picture, you see that the conventional solution is really that you use oil or some other fossil fuel to store it in a tank or whatever, and then you use a conventional burner, and you will release a lot of emission by doing that. Of course, we all know that. But this is, they're using the burner once they need a steam for the production. It's not 24/7, but they need it quite often. And way to change this implication is actually to utilize the solar and wind, and through the electric grid do the charging of the material, as we have been looking into, and to have a heat storage where you can release the steam once you need it. It's the same principle, but there are no emission on the upper case here. And this is makes it, of course, very attractive to this solution. The typical models for the storages is a charging reactor. I mentioned that. In Balmora, it's SaltX. The discharging reactor, it's Sumitomo Foster. And then we have the storages. We don't have any major storage installed in Balmora, but that's not an issue. The thing is that we need to make the process itself, charging and discharging, verified from a technical point of view, and we're also working with a third party verification of this case in Balmora also. So the material is supplied by Nordkalk and Wacker, and Alfa Laval is a part of this. You heard that, and also ABB. So the beauty with this solution is really that you can tailor-made it. You can make one power on the charging and another one on discharging, and you can adjust the amount of material then depending on what sort of charging capacity that you want. Now let's spend a few words time about this new innovation. And as I said, the background of this was really that we wanted to have a good charging reactor to make it possible to build large storages applications. We looked into various solutions here, and we actually ended up that we did the development by ourselves together with some partners. And this is a strategical positioning our company in a good way, where we also have a patent pending for this innovation. So what is it all about then? Well, it's about, we call it EAC, electric arc calciner. That's the new charging reactor. And I will not go into any more details about that, but the ERC is actually suitable for the energy storage application, for charging the reactor, which means that we have a very powerful storage for the industry. It is, the reactor itself is ours. We have the rights of it. We have the patent pending, which is very important here also. But in addition of this, on top of this, we can also using this innovation for electrification of some of the industry, like the calcination industry, like the cement industry, and also steel industry in why. And we are supporting and we are the enabler to make it possible to do this electrification. And here we are, of course, in very close cooperation with ABB and other companies, because they also have the mission and vision to electrify the world, as particularly the industry. So we have the same interest here, so to say, to drive this electrification. But that's another application for the ESC compared to the energy storage. So that's important to remember. And that's slightly another sort of temperature and process, but it's the same basic principle. So we are very excited about this, and we think that this is going to be a very interesting future. And this is not anything that we have done on a PowerPoint or anything like that. This is as a real reality. We have made a test in the middle of Sweden for a number of weeks, and we have some results here, of course, and it's very suitable to scale this technology up to higher power and also to very high temperature. And it's very depends on what you compare with, but looking on the conventional technology and conventional process today on certain industries, this is going to be much more simplified processes, and competitiveness will be high. So exactly what we will do here, we don't know yet, because this is an additional leg actually to stand on in the company, but we will come back to that later on. But it's a sort of a breakthrough innovation. Looking on the world and looking on the challenges that we do have in the world, looking on the cement industry and the calcination industry, it's It corresponds to about 8% emission of the total. And if you should convert that into a country, it will be the country number 3 in the world to let the emission out. And looking on the production of quicklime, it's actually 400 million ton. And looking on the production on cement, is 4,500 million ton. It's hard to understand, really. It's hard to verify how much material, how much is utilized. But cement is the second used material that are used in the world. The first is water, and then it comes cement. So then we all understand that it's huge impact, it's huge potential, and it's a lot of good thing. It makes it possible to change the world here. It will not be done over the night, of course, but it will be done in cooperation and in together with some key partners, and ABB is one of them for sure, and they also are very, very high interest in this technology and what we can do together here, because they also, as I said, they also want to be electrified. So, but again, the ERC, electric arc calciner, one application is the energy storage, another one is the electrification of the industry. So 2 separate applications. I think I stop there and let you say a few words, Harald, about the financial situation. Where are we, and how does it look like?
Thank you, Carl-Johan. I will be quick in commenting the financials. The issue to address is what do we do with our funds? How much do we spend? What do we accomplish? And how long time will the funds last? And we are a company, we do research, we do development, and we do marketing of our solutions. And the marketing currently consists of being in contact with our partners and customers to understand their needs and what they want, and then develop the solutions we provide. We are developing and providing to those needs in line with what Carl-Johan has explained. And looking then at the numbers, you can see that we have spent, bottom line, a little bit less this quarter than the same quarter last year. Last year, during the whole year, we erected Balmora. So we invested in purchasing the equipment and setting it up. And then during the end of the year and going into 2000 and this year, we have spent resources in conducting tests there. This quarter, we have the money spent on Balmora is less, but on the other hand, we have started then to continue the development of the electric arc calciner for the 2 different applications. That's energy storage, as Carl-Johan explained, as well as then electrifying the lime industry. And the difference in our result, you can see there that -12 this year quarter compared to -8 same quarter last year. The difference is how much of our development that we capitalize, and there we have capitalized a little bit less this quarter, so therefore the result is lower this quarter than last year. But on bottom line, we've spent pretty much the same kind of amount, and we have a reasonably comfortable cash position, and as we always say, we have funded the company through our shareholders. That's one of the reasons we are on the stock market, as well as on public funding. Both the EU's Horizon 2020 and the State Energy Agency, Energimyndigheten, have provided us with funds, and we continue to apply to all sorts of sources in order to balance our cash needs from both sources. With that, I end
Thank you, Harald.
my comments.
Very good. Let's get into the questions and answers. See what questions we have.
A few years ago, you made the decision to only focus on as greatest potential was identified there, but also to keep cost control and difficulty to focus on all other areas with a small organization. Are you not risking the same with all new focus areas, calcination or energisphering green steel? Why not only go for spherium green steel?
That's a good question, and I think that we have we keep to the focus that we have within the energy storage applications. We have developed this charging reactor, this new innovation here, and that's an extra bonus. You can say that we have the possibility to electrify the industry also, but we are not taking any other directions into the company. And you're right, that's saying that we have really put an sort of an honor to keeping the cost under control in the company, because the company has been much bigger before and spent a lot of more money, but we have really made our efforts now to keep this under control. And even if the financial figure looks a little bit worse than last time, the cost is under control, still under control, very much so. And why not only go with spherium green steel? We will see. The press study is going on, and we are excited about this, of course, but we are also excited about the energy storage.
The opportunities we see in the areas that we now continue to develop are so promising that we will continue to work with these opportunities and then see which fruit will become ripe first. And there are no further questions.
What fruit do you think will be best, Harald?
I'm not going. I hedge my debts. I hedge my bets, and will advise that we continue on all fronts without becoming too thin on all fronts.
I think the issue is really that we're following the industry, we're following the customers, and we are close to them. And since we are that, I think we will make it possible for future success in one way or another. Whatever fruit it will be, we don't know, as Harald said, but there will be a fruit.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for calling in and listening.